Most everybody wants what Bill Richardson has got. He's handsome, witty, smart, and successful. You may not know that he was once a shy kid from Winnipeg who read a lot and liked spending time in the library. In fact, he has a degree in library science. You've enjoyed lots of him on CBC Radio, etc. This week, he is part of an 80-minute clever stage show called Do You Want What I Have Got? A Craigslist Cantata. It is my pleasure to welcome Bill Richardson back to Studio 4 to tell us more.
Hello.
And you're dressed in a proper jacket. Last time you were here, you were in a bustier.
Was
yes.
I really? Oh, my bustier phase.
It was your bustier phase, I guess.
Late and lamented. You know, I moved, and which I do quite a lot. Time to clean, time to move, and the bustier bit the dust.
Alas, alack.
Alas, alack.
Did you put
no more to be seen, not on me.
Did you put it on Craigslist?
There may be some dumpster diver out there who is wearing the bustier. I'm not entirely sure. No, I did not put it on Craigslist. I've never sold anything on Craigslist.
Ever?
Ever.
So how did all this begin, this idea about a show?
Okay,
about
a few years ago, for 2009, Veda Hille, was curating for the Push Festival a series of 4 20-minute musicals. That was the conceit, to do a musical in a very compressed bit of time. And we were working together. And so we met and talked about what it might be, and we settled on the idea of using Craigslist because it's so rich, this online classified ads thing. And I trolled through and found some likely prospects for ads that might be cobbled together into a kind of script and some set to music, and then Veda got to work and did that, and we had this 20-minute musical. And the audience liked it, and Bill Millard from the Arts Club came to see it and thought that maybe there was something in there for expansion. And so over the last couple of years, we've been through a number of workshops that the Arts Club has been behind, and it's towering 85 minutes. 85.
Was it hard to quit writing because some of those ads are so rich, as you suggest?
Well, that's the thing, you know. I mean, in a way, the musical is kind of anti-Craigslist because that is changing all the time. It's just the tides come in and the tides go out, and there's all these new postings, and we had to settle on some that would be fixed forevermore in time, and so. But one thing that makes me happy seeing it now after that length of time has passed is that the ones that have been there since the beginning don't seem dusty or shop-worn to me. They still seem pretty relevant and contemporary. So.
You wrote it. Are you in it?
No, mercy, no, no. No one need fear that. Fear nothing. You can come to the show and won't have to see me mooing at you from the stage. No, it's a musical. They all sing. Yeah, it's sung all the way through.
I see. So, for example, I will pay you $1 to sit in a bathtub full of noodles.
I will pay you $1 to sit in my bathtub full of noodles. I will not be home, nor will anyone else while you do this. Yeah. A neighbor will watch the front door from across the street, and using a supplied stopwatch will time your entrance and your exit. Please bring footwear. The noodles will be wet. The noodles will be cooked so slippery. I will season the pasta when I come home after work. Do not bring any sauce.
This really wasn't on Craigslist.
Yes.
It really was.
Yes.
So this is the real thing.
Mounted lobster, real dog skeleton, my ear hairs got me laid. Oh, it goes on and on and on. It's rich, 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 rich.
Stop. My ear hairs got me laid. Really? Well, who knew? We've always plucked those, tweezed them.
No, it's a great source of the weird and the unusual, and the funny, and also the poignant. I mean, that was something that became apparent as we began to look a little deeper into this, is that on the surface, some of these ads just seem bizarre or out and out louche. But in many instances, what you have are people who are hungry for human contact, people who are looking for connections. And this is what it proves to be in the end, is quite a tender piece. It's funny, but it's tender too, and it's about people needing connection.
The Craigslist community, really? Is there
well,
one?
No,
Apparently.
No doubt there is. I mean, Craigslist sells itself as a kind of place of community. I think wherever people get together, however they get together, whether it's in a virtual way online or whether, of course, it's just coming together in a theater, we create community. It's what we do as a species.
I thought they sold tires and sofas.
They do that as well. It's full of the
and old washing machines on Craigslist.
Yes,
perhaps
oh, yeah.
a car.
It is a classified ad. That's what it is. I mean, newspapers have taken using Craigslist as a verb now. We've been Craigslisted because when Craigslist really took off, of course, it sapped newspapers of a lot of their ad revenues from classified ads. It was a game changer in that way. But it's not substantially different from what classified ads were. It's exactly the same.
My granddad used to read the classified ads.
As did I as a child.
Did you?
I was obsessed by them. Mm-hmm.
Why?
I think for the same reason I like Craigslist, just because there was always something there that made you wonder. Yeah, who would have such a thing? Why would they have such a thing? Why would they want to get such a thing, get rid of such a thing? There's, under the rock of all these things, there are stories squirming.
Of course, and you could dream in the classified ads, because if you wanted a puppy,
yes.
and your father said,
yes.
we're never having a dog,
uh-huh.
you could look at the classifieds in hopes.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and then Craigslist as well, as Veda has pointed out, there's, when you put an ad in the newspaper, of course, you would pay by the word, but with Craigslist, no. And you can go on and on and on, and people do. And actually, it's become a kind of literary forum in some ways. The self-consciously literary ads, by and large, were not ones that I was drawn to. I wanted ones that seemed a little more genuine. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. A woman, she's in Santa Barbara, and she wants to give away a carton of irregular cat and kitten hats. She has 14 of these, which she collected over the years for her cat Snowman, who's no longer with her, and so she wants to give them away. And they range in style from cute and funny to formal. And it breaks your heart, you know? She has her 14 cat and kitten hats that used to belong to Snowman, and she wants to find a good home for them.
I see. And did she knit them? Or did she say?
She doesn't say, but you see, that's what the imagination is for.
And the question is, why does a cat wear a hat?
Yes, well, exactly.
Why does a cat need a hat?
I dare say, not willingly.
I dare say, the cats I know would certainly not like to wear a hat. But people do dress their pets, you know.
Yeah, they do, yeah. Yeah. And then with Craigslist as well, you have all the photographic possibilities as well that people
right.
can afford. So,
I wonder what the most popular ads are on Craigslist. Any idea?
Well,
the most read, the most responded to.
That's a good question. I'd guess that within the personal ads, it's the section called missed connections, where people have seen somebody in the Starbucks, on the bus, in the mall, and felt an attraction, and like to think that that's been reciprocal. And so in order to connect with that person, like throwing a bottle into the ocean, an ad will go up on Craigslist. And they're so very often, those ads contain a phrase that's like, you'll never read this, or there's not a chance that you're going to see this, or something along those lines. But here's this gesture of hope. It's a gesture of hope. And I'd be curious to know how often, I'm sure people have done follow-ups on this, but it'd be wonderful to know how often, in fact, people do see these ads and say, oh, that was me, that was me. And we have in the show one example, in fact, of an ad that was posted unanswered.
I read a story about that, and they did connect.
Yeah, it must happen.
It must happen. You see somebody in the lobby of the Shaw Tower getting a coffee, and now we tweet.
Yeah.
But I guess you could go to Craigslist. See, I have a confession. I have never been to Craigslist.
Oh, well, Craigslist.
I've never sold anything on Craigslist.
Well,
I better get there.
If ever you choose to. But whether you use it actively, it makes for fascinating browsing. I would say in small doses.
What about the trust factor?
Do you mean,
who do you trust? Somebody says, I have a brand new sofa.
Well.
Not a mark on it. Who is the cop on all of this? Just you? Consumer beware?
Yeah, I would suppose so. As with any kind of online sales thing, eBay would be the same. Oh, with eBay, of course, you have the buyer-seller ratings. But trust is an interesting one, especially maybe when it comes to the personal postings.
Right. And so people are looking for dates on Craigslist.
Oh, my heavens. Rich, 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 rich. Yeah, lots and lots and lots of personal ads, yeah.
Boy, boy, girl, girl.
All of the above.
Old, young, all of the above.
Women for men, men for women, women for women, men for men. Any kind of possibility and combination that you want to imagine, it's there.
And an ad would reveal a lot about you.
Well, it would or it would not.
Or not.
Yeah, it would reveal.
Are you a fibber?
Well, I mean, people wear disguises when they write these ads, of course.
Of course.
Very often.
And I think this is in the show about the dolls without the heads.
My daughter
decapitated dolls.
My daughter likes to cut the heads off dolls, pull the heads off dolls, and we have lots of headless dolls free to a good home. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What does she do with the heads? Is the question.
Well,
when she pulls them off the doll.
You see, they've consulted the therapist, and the therapist says they should just let her. And some of the heads, the ad says, may be retrievable, most probably not.
Mattel or somebody will come out with a bleeding doll. That'll be the next thing, to teach children not to pull the heads off dolls, right? I pulled the heads off my dolls. They used to come right out.
Oh, yeah.
Then you couldn't get them back in, or I never sawed a head off.
The sort of planned obsolescence.
I didn't like dolls all that much.
Well, when you want to play French Revolution, you know, it's a great thing to be
Exactly.
able to have. Yeah.
Of course it is. I never thought about that. We were playing Cowboys and Indians. I'm afraid.
Capital Punishment Barbie.
Capital Punishment Barbie.
Guillotine
Coming
Barbie.
next. We'll come back with Bill Richardson.